Welcome back to Rolling with Katie. I'm your host, Katie. What's up, babes? We're back with a new season to talk about here on the pod, and I continue my abusive relationship with HBO. We're in all black today. If you're watching the visuals of this pod, we are in all black because we are in mourning. Happy Pride, but I am currently extremely somber. They once again have me genuinely affected by the loss of a human being who is not even fucking real. We started Pride with a dead lesbian and we're ending it with a dead twink. So HBO said, fuck the gays, basically. No, all jokes. All jokes. Jaceres obviously was allegedly straight. He died too young and we'll never fucking know. But goddamn. House of the Dragon is back, you guys. I can't believe it. I'm so excited. I can't wait to cover it every single week. I apologize for this episode being later. I am going to really do my best at making these more timely. You know, otherwise we're here, we're queer, and we're talking about it. Also, brief apology for not doing an episode since Euphoria ended. I just didn't want to do filler episodes, really. I was thinking about content that I wanted to do, and I've also just been extremely busy, so I do apologize. However, there are no excuses for House of the Dragon. I am really committing to covering this show episode by episode. And then after that, I don't know. Be sure to check out the video I did post during the 2-week break. It was a reaction video from that lesbian show that came out a couple years ago called First Kill. It was only one season because the industry hates to give lesbians anything. Stop arguing, Nakiri! My dragons are fighting, you guys. Yeah, so be sure to check out that reaction video. I did it with my roommate that I lived with in Los Angeles, Shelby. She's also my creative soulmate, my filmmaking partner. So yeah, go check out that video. It's fun. We love a reaction video. Hope to do more of those. Enough of that bullshit. On with the show. Briefly, I want to just give my drive-by take on season 2 because unfortunately, Popcorn Chats ended before we got a chance to cover season 2. So I watched that completely raw dog, no notes or anything, just like fully one with the people watching it, which was admittedly a fun experience that I did appreciate with season 2 of House of the Dragon. A lot of people didn't like season 2. I'm starting to get really annoyed with the pod and seeing clips of it, Oysters, Clams, and Cuckles. I'm pretty sure that is literally the podcast that made me want to start Popcorn Chats with Michaela because I would listen to their recaps of season 1 of Euphoria. I just felt like not that they had bad takes necessarily, just that their takes were so dissimilar to my own, and I couldn't find like a female-centered lens of somebody consuming that show at the time. Anyways, flash forward to now, they like ripped apart season 2, which some things I feel like are valid, and I feel like a lot of people didn't love season 2. I loved it at the time, and then recently I did a rewatch I mentioned when I was covering season 3 of Euphoria. My girlfriend and I completely did a rewatch of season 1 and 2, and we literally just finished that right before watching the season 3 House of the Dragon premiere. So that was such a dope experience, I think, especially because this shit picks up right where it left off, which I kind of live. But yeah, a lot of people said that season 2 dragged. I kind of agree with that. I feel like everything that I was being given on screen was just a blessing. Like, I love these actors. I love this writing. I love this world. I love the way that I really have to like lock into this show to keep up with what's going on and notice things. I love a rewatch, especially with a show like this. You notice so much more. I feel like you get more out of it because you're watching it more frequently or like more subsequently rather than waiting week by week. And then also I already kind of know the big, huge plot moments and jaw-dropping moments. I know what to expect. So I'm, instead of like being in the moment and my heart is racing and I'm like super focused on just like things playing out, I'm able to put that in the back of my mind and notice some more intricate details that I didn't get the first watch through. I feel like the Damon situation at Harrenhal was pretty lengthy. However, I do feel like it was really needed and good for his character. I like the arc and the place that we eventually get to where he realizes that, babe, this shit is bigger than you. You are just a piece in the board. You are not him. Sit down, know your place. I fucking live for that shit. But yeah, like, was that exhausting week after week watching him like low-key go insane? Yeah, I kind of got over it. And I do love him and Emma Darcy together and their acting together. So that was missed a good chunk of season 2. Standout for season 2 was obviously Emma Darcy, Rhaenyra's character, fucking obsessed with literally everything that she does and everything, all the performances that Emma Darcy delivered. They are such a powerhouse. They clearly know and understand this character so deeply. And I know that they get a lot of praises, but I don't think that they get enough, especially from like male podcasters who are like, oh, it's really hard without Viserys. The actor that played Viserys was really good, and without him, you can feel his absence. Bitch, okay, that's a you opinion. Like, I do not share that. Speak for your literal self. I don't need a fucking crusty ass man who's falling apart to be on my screen in order to enjoy a show that's literally about women. Speaking of women, yes, I absolutely lost my shit when Rhaenyra had her les out moment with Mysaria. What's that lady's name? Oh, I'm so bad. Guys, I'm so bad with these people's names. I'm bad with people's names in real life. Remember when I called Nate Jacobs Nathan for an entire episode? That's not that bad. I've done worse. But like, I have a hard time with names and faces in real life, girl. This show, everyone's name rhymes with each other. A lot of bitches have the same fucking name, so it's hard. But yes, let's talk about Rhaenyra's lesbian moment. My girlfriend was like, oh my God, we have to go back and watch the episode. You know, I want to know your reaction to that. I bet you lost your shit. It's like, there's no plane, babe. There's no episode. There's no episode. It's Lost to the Wind. My initial first reaction to that, and now they're weed whacking. 13-3 said, okay, no, but yeah, my genuine first time reaction to that is dead, and she died in anonymity. However, yeah, obviously I was gagged. I hope we get more of that this season. I low-key am intrigued by the possible tensions that could exist now that Daemon is coming back. Also regarding Daemon, and I did admit this and apologize. I don't even know if I apologized. But I did mention this to Michaela, that I have a newfound appreciation. That's so funny. I won't apologize. I did admit that I have a newfound appreciation for Daemon and that character, and that was a journey that I had while doing my rewatch of season 1 and 2 and like subsequent. I appreciate his character for what he is. I like that he stays in character and we really get to see this journey that he has to go on to fight his demons and get over his mommy issues and get over his issues with Viserys and his small man struggle of feeling like lesser than and having to work super hard for everybody to take him seriously and to trust him. He kind of had like an ego death at Harrenhal, and I feel like that was needed. We barely got any of him in this season 3 premiere, which was tragic. Barely got any Rhaenyra too. I'm trying to get some more. What you know about that? I want to hear that shit. Run the track, play it back. Aegon, very interesting in season 2. I hate Kristen Cole with the burning passion and fury. I feel like overall I have very similar takes to all the other girlies watching this show. Really enjoyed season 2, but did feel like, okay, it's time to get into this shit, get on with it. But now it's like, careful what you fucking wish for, because bitches are dead. My faves. My Shayla. The other thing about season 2 is I fucking fell in love with Jacaerys. And I really fucking love him and Bela. And I was rooting for them, okay? I'm literally tearing up. Oh, fuck, bitch. Also, one last thing about season 2, we obviously got to talk about Otto Hightower getting kicked out of King's Landing. What's going on with him? He was in a cave at the end of season 2. Who gives a fuck? Boo, flop. And then Alicent and her whole journey and kind of coming to terms with the fact that she is also a flop. Product of a flop, so you are, in fact, a flop. It's giving tradwife or like Christian Republican women who are like making t-shirts at those conventions that are like, normalize liking your husband. Let's not use a real world example. Like in The Handmaid's Tale, when Serena or some of the other wives had those like oh shit moments where it's like it's all hee hee ha ha shitting on other women and like living for and serving to the patriarchy until you are one of the women. Like, it spares no one. We're all fucking women and we gotta ride for each other. And I feel like Alicent really arrived at that realization when she also kind of got kicked out of the table because Aemond, war criminal, is coming on up chomping at the bit for the throne, burns Aegon down, and then, of course, now you've created a fucking monster. Girl, you thought that the order of things was going to somehow benefit you when it never has benefited women ever. Oh my God. And then her and Kristen Cole, season 2, her opening season 2 is him eating her bush. I've never shipped a couple less. I've never rooted against a couple more. Ew. Absolute fucking garbage. Kristen Cole is your average, like, manosphere, woman hating incel. His will be a satisfying death, no matter how it happens for me. Season 2 ended with Alicent going to visit Rhaenyra. She did a little sneaky sneak of her own, just like Rhaenyra did, to visit her prayer circle that one time. I don't know names for shit. Okay, shit. Then Alicent doing her thing, realizing that she was fucked, basically, worried about her and her kids getting burned down, literally gives up Aegon, is like, yeah, fine, take him. He's dead anyways. He's not dead, but he's on death's door. She was like, made this deal with Rhaenyra, and that's kind of what sets us up for season 3. Rhaenyra trusts Alicent, and that is what we open on in season 3. Actually, we open this episode on Rhaena, literally right where we left off. This girl is starving out in the meadows. The Eyrie. What I love about it is Rhaenyra said when she was recruiting dragon riders in season 2 that, oh my God, there's so much that happened in season 2. I can't touch on all of it, but like, also R.I.P. Queen Rhaenys, love her down. Rhaenyra says when she's recruiting dragon riders in season 2 that you have to be willing to die to claim a dragon. And that's what we're seeing here with Rhaena. She has this intense desire to be useful to Queen Rhaenyra, which I admire and I love. And also, again, I'm just like, all these men podcasts are gonna hate her now because she was trying to help. It was good intentioned. Okay, she was trying to help. Yeah, I just feel like now all the men are gonna be like, she's ass, bro, she sucks. But yeah, she's willing to die to claim Sheep Stealer. I love that tie-in and the way that she is willing to put her life on the line for this cause. It's kind of heartbreaking too at the same time, because it's like she knows that there's a chance she'll die. She'd rather die than not have a dragon and be able to contribute to the cause in that way. The dragons of it all makes something emotional about these characters kind of taken to the next level. We saw that with Jace in season 2 when he was kind of crashing out about the bastard Targaryens, or like the small folk offspring of Targaryens, being recruited to come and claim dragons, and his whole like issue with that, having a dragon really separates you from other people. We see that with Aemon's character. It manifests differently in everybody, but I just like really love the emotional punch that the dragons bring to House of the Dragon that we don't necessarily get in Game of Thrones. Aemond is immediately starting this season like a crackhead, pulling people from their bed. He's about to execute the maester without even giving him a trial, without even giving him a chance. Fucking war criminal, because he doesn't know where Aegon went. He's freaking out over nothing. It's like, wouldn't you be glad that he's gone? Something needs to happen for him. I think canonically, now don't quote me on this. Oh, also spoilers, perhaps canonical spoilers, but they're not following the book. So I don't know. If you want to skip this part, skip it. It'll be quick. Canonically, I think Aegon's men end up poisoning him or something. They like turn on him. I wonder if that will happen instead with Aemond. I think that would be interesting. Don't know what's going to happen with Vhagar though. It's just going to be interesting to see how this all plays out. Very confused about Larry's motives. Not sure if I've missed something. I have no idea what his plan is, where he's going with this, why he so easily gave up him and Aegon. They are on the run because they know that Aemond wants to kill Aegon. Shit is about to hit the fan because they're not making good decisions. And without Sunfire, rest in peace Sunfire, they are short for dragons. And Helena, she refuses to be a dragon rider. She doesn't want to kill anybody. And I love her. I love Helena. Her being a seer is so cool. And I think it's the people who like know the most that show the most restraint and like are gentle and stuff, and I just love that about her. And I love her strength though when she's able to resist Aemond. Aegon is super trad. He is trying to heal up from his injuries, but I feel like he has a mental battle that I'm not sure he is strong enough to get through. I don't really know, and I'm not like on the edge of my seat to see where that's going, so we'll see how that plays out. We have that whole trending sound that's like, bring Aegon the usurper. So are they already bringing him to her? I don't know. Don't care. But fuck Larry's. He's a freak. And I don't like him. I immediately don't love Rhaenyra's energy coming into this. She is giving, like, she did a line of coke and she's ready to go. She's giving trigger happy, which just felt like different than my girl. Like, that's my homegirl. And suddenly she's switching up. A big attribute of her character is that she's shown a lot of restraint, you know, throughout the first 2 seasons. That's kind of her shtick, but it's like restraint in a badass, powerful way. And I think we're seeing the cracks in that a little bit. Again, we didn't get a lot of her at all in this episode. She is kind of like shaky with excitement and genuinely like, oh my God, we won. Like, I think she's just high on the idea of having everything she could possibly want right in front of her. And she jumps the gun a little bit. And the fallout of all of this shit that went down in the gullet and her losing her son Chase and another dragon because she trusted Allison. Babe, it was just a fucking miscommunication. Somebody get these people goddamn cell phones. What the fuck is up with that? Okay, we have no progress ever in Westeros. The one progress that I've noted and seen is not technological based. They're just like at one point okay with people fucking their brothers and sisters and mommies and daddies, and then suddenly they're not. Then they evolve and they're like, we don't do that anymore. That is the only progress that apparently happens in this world. We're still sending ravens about shit, but we got dragons blowing shit up. Like, that would be like doing World War II without the telegraph or whatever the fuck, the clickety clack. We got nukes, but it takes 3 days to get back to each other. Is that low key like how it was? Girl, I don't even know. Imagine having nukes, but you're depending on a bird going back and forth. That is not an efficient means. I think Rhaenyra is gonna crack a little bit. You know, people are saying like, this is the season where the audience is gonna turn on Rhaenyra. Never will. Don't care what she does. Will never. Won't. I'm Team Black forever, not going nowhere. I don't care what she does, literally. I think she's gonna kind of be balls to the wall after this. I think she's gonna be no mercy after this. So we are gonna see how that plays out. We have Jace being in particular very resistant to her plan, but I think everybody is kind of resistant to the plan and doesn't want her to fly. Rhaenyra, though, is like sick of sending all these other people to battle and half the time they don't come back. Alicent's look when she sees Aemond on the Iron Throne and the music and just like her heart sinking, you know, it's like, girl, you fucked up. And then he's like, Aegon has abdicated the throne. Yikes. Yeah. Bad news, bad situation. Red alert, red alert. We got a war criminal. We got a war criminal on the Iron Throne, babe. Abort, abort. Was it because she knew that she did wrong, or was it simply for self-preservation? I think at the end of the day, Alicent is acting on self-preservation and wanting what's best, in particular for Helena, but she does love all of her children, it seems. Even the one who is literally crazy and literally kissed her romantically. What the fuck? This whole episode is just Alicent realizing, like, oh, he's got problems. Like, yeah, no shit. He needed therapy when he was like 6 years old. We missed that, and it's just been a runaway train ever since, mama. And now he's kissing you romantically, and you can't do anything about it because he is the king, basically. Help. Help. This miscommunication, complication situation where Aemond is now staying with Vhagar at King's Landing he was supposed to fly to meet Kristen Cole, and Allison's brother, but now he's like, fuck them bitches, I'm not doing that. I'm staying here and protecting my shit. It was just like a well-intentioned miscommune. It's just another link in a string, that has been going on since they were children, when Allison misunderstood and thought that Rhaenyra slept with Damon, but instead it was Kristen, and she found that out, and it was that whole miscommunication, misunderstanding thing. And then from there have been a number of those things where it's just sometimes well-intentioned misunderstandings, Allison mishearing or mistaking Viserys' last words. Stupid bitch. It's just tragic being an audience member and watching that all unfold and being like, fuck. This is where texting would be helpful. Love the Greybeard army flying the Stark banners, showing up with a Lannister head in their hands. I love that. I loved that moment. Again, we didn't get a ton of Daemon this episode, but I'm excited to see more of him, said with caution. I do not want to linger on this man very long, but if I have to hear one more Kristen Cole condescending ass monologue where he's sitting on a stump looking up at a man who is better than him, and he gives this dumbass fucking speech about how nothing matters and he's super pessimistic and amoral, woe is me, or like, we're all monsters and we're all fucked up pieces of shit, right? It's like, no, babe, that's you. You're a fucked up piece of shit and you don't deserve rights, let alone to be the hand of the king. It's crazy. We got big dick swinging ass little boys running the kingdom. We're in trouble. We're literally in trouble because their frontal lobes are not developed. Kristen Cole had some shit rattled around in there or something. He's shell shocked, got PTSD from when the dragon came and burnt shit down. What was that? Rook's Rest? Something broke in him there. He has been slowly breaking for the worse, and he is also a war criminal. Refusing to deal with the rapist that is in his ranks. He's a piece of shit. I can't wait for him to die, but I cannot sit through one of those fucking monologues again. Okay, I will simply fast forward through it. I don't want to hear it. Every time he speaks, I just hear wah, 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 wah. This episode should have just been called All Is Not Going to Plan, because nothing is going to plan, bitch. The three bastards are waiting for Vhagar on their little campsite. Ulf wants his castle and realizes that he is not getting a castle and he'll just get a horse and be a knight. And he's like, I'm fucking out of this shit. Yeah, since Vhagar isn't coming and they can't jump him, they're just sitting with their booties out, exposed. I don't have a ton to say about their moments this episode. I like the dynamic that exists between them. I am excited to see and find out where Hugh gets his dragon blood from. I think it was from his mom, right? And she worked in a pleasure house. So maybe we do know and it's like dramatic irony and he's not telling anybody about it. Maybe that skipped over me. But yeah, all in all, I don't have a ton to say about them. I'm excited to see what goes on with the three of them this season. I love Adam. I think he's the sweetest, kindest, cutest boy. I think he's really sweet. And I think her name is Alice, the witch, coming back and basically telling them like, hey, y'all better go save your queen. Go back to Dragonstone. Mid-episode, I'm like, somebody needs to throw Rhaena a bone, man. She is trying. She is out here like dirty. And then the dragon literally does throw her a sheep. He got her a sheep that was so fucking cute. They got my hopes up real bad with that. I was like, this is gonna be a badass woman moment. And it sort of was, but it was mostly bad. Oh, shit. But yeah, that was like long dragged out. So for it all to just end that way, like the last episode of season 2 was mostly her running around in that field, starving, freezing, falling. She rides Sheep Stealer for a little bit and then falls off. That's this episode. She's just going through it. It's a long period of time where she's like fighting for this dragon. I hope that it's all a colossal build up to her eventually taming the wildness of Sheep Stealer. I'm rooting for her, okay? And maybe it's just a bigger arc than I would have wanted. At least I hope. I don't know. Like, is Rhaenyra literally gonna kill her? Is that what they mean by like you're gonna turn on her? Yikes. Even then, I don't think I would turn on her. If Rhaenyra was like Rhaena disobey, I could see, Rhaena disobeyed her commands. A king would do that, I think Rhaenyra is in the process of losing herself because of this war that is looming and is so heavy. And then now, like with the loss of Jace, I think it's gonna expedite this spiraling that she's having a little bit. She is kind of trigger happy and like, yes, we got it. Like we're in the bag. And just blindly trusting her enemy, Alicent. And then also she's abandoning that restraint and that level-headedness and that let's pause and think through things that sets her apart from the men and like really sets her apart from people like Aemon and Kristen Cole and Aegon. She loses herself in that moment, I think, because she is so close to having everything that she wants. She gets the yips a little bit and she becomes kind of this conquesting, big dick swinging person that she's not. Then we have her like cutting up her, I forget what that I don't know what she was cutting up, her robes or something. And she says something along the lines of like, I look like a woman, but I have the spirit of a king or something. And it's like, no, girl, you don't. And that's why you deserve to rule. And that's why you should be sitting on the Iron Throne. You don't have the zealous conquesting spirit of a king. You have the calculated, calm, compassionate restraint of a badass woman. Recognize yourself, baby. I could see Mysaria kind of being her grounding reminder of that. Mysaria is the voice of the small folk and advocating for them with Rhaenyra because Rhaenyra will listen and empathize and acknowledge that that is a smart play to win over the hearts of the people. A man could never. Aemond is literally the exact opposite of that, being like, fuck the people, we don't need them, whatever, let them starve, let them whatever. It's giving the Strait of Hormuz, babe. It's giving kind of what we're going through a little bit right now. Very palpable. Anyways, like I said, I'm team Rhaenyra. Whatever she does, I'm with it. I approve. It's all part of her journey. I mean, obviously I want to see her win, and I don't know if that's actually what's going to happen. Are we going to have to watch her make these devastating mistakes? I'm like, remember who you are, baby. Remember who you are. I think Mysaria is kind of like, could be her reminder of that, and then Daemon is her reminder of like her strength and her badassness. Loved Helena's moment when she said Aemond forgot what fear was when he claimed Vhagar, but he remembers now. Like Aemond is scared, and that's not necessarily a good thing because I think when men like that are scared, people die in real life and in Westeros life. I think Alicent recognizes Helena's wisdom in this moment, but she also is like, you're right. I got to use Aemon's fear and kind of manipulate him and see if there's a way to get him to still do what she wants him to do. Yet another subplot with Alwyn and Corlys, two men who really just need to communicate and just need to hug it out, I think, talk about it and get over it. Roycey boy, Nakiri. They're both very emo. I'm sure they're both water signs, obviously. That would make sense. Corlys is broken and still heartbroken and healing from the loss of Rhaenys, and it puts him in this vulnerable position where it is kind of like, fuck you, okay, now that all your kids and your wife that you claimed and wanted are dead, now you're coming to your bastard kids for comfort or what? Like, to preserve your legacy. Like if I'm Alwyn, I'm also kind of like, fuck you. But yeah, he's also like very emo and like not accepting anything that Corlys is kind of extending. And it's just been this very like cold, again, long and drawn out thing between the two of them that was most of season. Nakiri. And it's like they know that this battle is looming, and Corlys does at least, and is like really wanting to have it out with him before they go into this battle where they might not survive. Alicent, going back to that, tries to convince Aemond in this very manipulating way, kind of feeding him, identifying that he has these mommy issues and feeding him things that she knows he wants in order to get him to feel good and get him in a position where he can be manipulated to do what she wants. Let's talk about this. Okay, so Alicent essentially end the war before it starts. I think she's kind of like saddling up to that being the goal, even though it's like, bitch, it's too late. late for that. Like, we had that option, we presented it to you, and you were in a better position at that time, and you said no. But now Rhaenyra has kind of done some grassroots work, acquired these other dragon riders through having empathy and humility, right? And now she's bitching out and she's trying to manipulate Aemond because she has identified that he has some serious mommy issues. Okay, and she identifies this as a weak spot for him. You know, there are the men of Game of Thrones, the men who rule, and then there are the women who whisper in those men's ears. And I love that this universe consistently shows those women. We had Queen Marjorie, Lilas, that woman forever. I think she's like the OG Game of Thrones, the woman behind the man type shit, you know? But even like Catelyn Stark and all of these other figures, that even Cersei, you know? And there's obviously like the men behind the men too. Obviously the real players of the Game of Thrones, like Littlefinger, and also in this, I would say Otto Hightower. Anyways, I think Alicent is really one of those women in a lot of respects. Even though Aemond is very dismissive of her in front of other guys, at the end of the day is kind of a little bitch. We can't forget that he goes to a pleasure house. I'm pretty sure it's literally called Mothers or some shit. Like, it's for boys with mommy issues, and he goes there and he gets with that lady. Truly what he's always wanted is like his mother's love, and Alicent kind of bit herself in the ass by favoring Aegon just because he was like the firstborn, feeding into Aemon's ego that he is the more qualified. And it's like, no one's denying that. Like, this man is fluent in High Valyrian. Aegon can't even fucking understand it. Has the biggest, baddest dragon, Vhagar, and he's just superior in every way. And he lets that reality turn him into a literal war criminal. And so then it's like, baby, you're not actually superior, you're not fit to rule, and go like seek treatment. Again, Alicent has just girl bossed too close to the fucking sun, because the look on her face when her son leans in to kiss her and she realizes like, oh my god, oh my fucking god, it's like, you dumb fucking bitch. She's disgusted. She's horrified. It just keeps going. The reality of how awful and the shock that she keeps experiencing with Aemond in particular, of like how shit he is. But she had the same thing with Aegon, and like how he's fathering all these kids because he like assaults the servant women in the castle and shit. Like, she is consistently disgusted with her boys. And this is just like a new low, babe. It's a new low because she was like manipulating him and like feeding his ego and shit, and then he kisses her and she's like, oh, I meant that platonically. I meant that as a mother, not your lover. Tragic. What the fuck? Bro, the show is crazy. It's sick. Okay, I'm just looking back at my note and it's literally so full of hope and so full of promise for the future, because the emotional way that they are dragging me through this emotionally, showing this cutie ass emotionally charged moment between Jace and Bela where he's like, come with me, and he's just wild-eyed and like so proud of himself and ready to go and ready to do this for Rhaenyra. Like, he commands Sir Laurent to bar the door so that she can't leave, and her crash out. I live for her banging on that door. You know, this like young love, and they're so hopeful and they really just want to contribute. Just like Rhaena, Jace, and Bela are chomping at the bit to be able to help. Again, it's just like well intentioned. I can't even talk about it. I'm literally gonna cry. His little comment about Luke and how he's like, I cannot lose my mom as well. And he knows also that like the movement can't lose her either. You know, they're misinformed. They are not aware of the strength and like the army that is waiting there. They really feel confident that they can take care of it and do it. When Bela comes in and says there's fighting like near Driftmark, I don't know, what is that place even called? The Stepstones, whatever. She like tells them about it. Rhaenyra immediately wants to jump on the dragon and go take care of it. Thank God she didn't. So they lock her in the room and then they go and they're killing it, you know, like they really gave it their all. They definitely got some of the triarchy or whatever the fuck. I also love Rhaenyra and Mysteria being trapped in there together. Lilas immediately cuts to war. Lahore, or whatever the fuck, this pirate lady. I do appreciate this story and this arc and this kind of like vengeance that she's trying to have on Corlys, who really laid down the hammer with the Triarchy and those people. She has this vendetta against him and kind of tricked the Lannister twin, pretty much just used this invasion as a way to get at Corlys and siege and pillage Driftmark. I don't know, I just appreciated the small story within this big fight and conflict. Again, nothing is going to plan. Initially, when Jace and Bela get to the gullet, blood pressure is rising, as I am sure a lot of people's are, and we have Lahore shooting that like dragon hook thing and snagging Vermax, and it starts dragging him down, and my heart is palpitating so hard. I have a feeling that this season is going to be really, really difficult for me, because it's like we know the outcome, obviously. Like, I think what I haven't really been thinking about, or was just kind of like putting out of my mind and hoping that we would not get to, was like all the dragons passing away, because once we get to Game of Thrones, which obviously that's still like a very long way off, but by the time we get there, there aren't any dragons left. So I just hate animal suffering. I'm very sensitive to that. It seems like these dragons don't want to be fighting, like they're fighting against kin as well. A lot of them are probably going to die this season, or, you know, as things progress, and just the way that we lose Vermax makes my heart ache, seeing him struggle against the waves. I know I'm jumping ahead. But like, you know, so when this first hook happened, I was like, no, and thank God for Bela coming in and chomping that. And it's like the promise of this duo. Like, I was so ready for this badass couple, this amazing duo, like dragon riders. They might not have the biggest dragons. They might be smaller than some other people. Maybe Jace's dad is not noble or whatever, but like, they were badass and they always showed up and wanted to fight. And I literally am crying. I'm crying. Like, it was lots of highs and lows, like subsequently back to back to back. Then we have this epic moment of Corlys leading Lahore into the teeth and that really narrow passage, and he, with all of his seafaring wisdom, is able to guide his crew, including his son Alwyn, through the teeth and traps Lahore. It seemed like a victory, and I was like, oh my god, I feel like they're giving us a victory just for shit to hit the fan. And I think Corlys wasn't counting on Lahore being just super cutthroat and having no morals. They start throwing people overboard. So I'm like, are both Lannister twins dead? I have a feeling the one that she pushed overboard is gonna pop up later, but she like pushed him and then pushed somebody else, and that person, I think it cut to that person like hitting a rock and dying immediately. So like, I don't know if that was like a fake out or if both Lannister twins are dead. If they're both dead, damn. The heartbreak of Corlys seeing Driftmark up in flames. At the end of the day, this man, that was the last thing he had, was his legacy, and that was always like what was so important to him. And it's like, he truly has lost fucking everything. Like, that broke him, and that was really tough. Alwyn is going fucking crazy in this fight. Like, he is just cutting bitches up. And when Corlys goes overboard because Lahore, you know, is able to weasel her way out and get back and attack them, and Corlys goes down, Alwyn calling him father, like, I thought that was such, you know, a really good arc there, given all of these like tense conversations. And then we have Sheep Stealer first day on the fucking job, okay? Like, she was out being a wild girl, and now suddenly she's enlisted in this war that she didn't want to be a part of, and she's a little confused. Okay, as we all would be. She's just now getting going, and maybe she doesn't know, maybe she's colorblind. She doesn't know who to burn and who to not, who to Dracarys and who to not Dracarys. And yeah, Rhaena's obviously flipping tit on her back, like, of course, as anybody would be. She's like just trying to help, and it's kind of blowing up in her face. And then yeah, this awful fucking moment where of course my heart is like in my fucking vagina, because we have these three characters that I really fucking love, of, and I was worried that it was going to be sister on sister crime, which that would have been also extremely, extremely terrible. What occurred was terrible. There's no way around that. I am shattered. I'm devastated. I'm broken, and I'm literally, today's the day of mourning. It's a classic Game of Thrones, just like gut punch. When that third arrow went into Jace's neck, I was reminded of the feeling that I had the first time after I watched the Red Wedding episode, which, like, you could argue is more like a lot of characters died during that episode or whatever, but it's just like there are no words. Like, I'm just rendered speechless. I'm fucking devastated. I'm fucking heartbroken. And for Vermax to be pulled down and drowned that way is absolutely, absolutely fucked. I hated that. I fucking hated that. Like, seeing Vermax struggle and Jace being like, come on, you can do it. Like, I weep. Like, I was literally tossing and turning last night thinking about it. Kept waking up thinking about it. Like, I'm haunted. The fallout of this, I fear for our queen. I fear how she's going to react to this, but I'm intrigued. I'm ready to see how everyone is going to handle this stuff. I'm just like, I'm so scared. I hate animal shit, and I don't want to see more dragons die, but I know more of them are. I'm ready for Kristen to meet his end. I'm ready for Aemond to meet his end. It's all going to play out. We're going to see how it all unfolds. I'm scared, but I'm ready, and I'm strong. We're in this together, y'all. I don't know if Corlys is alive or dead. Extremely scared and interested to see what happens with Rhaena and how Rhaenyra reacts to her kind of disobeying her. Like I said, how is Bela gonna feel after Chase passing? I don't want to think about it anymore. Ultimately, in season 3, episode 2, I'm gonna need more Rhaenyra. I'm gonna need more screen time for that girly. I need that character in a way that might be parasocial, might be borderline unhealthy, but I don't care because I haven't felt this way about a show and a character in a long time. Like, obviously, we talked about Euphoria was kind of a flop. This shit is so refreshing when it comes to the performances, when it comes to the writing and the plot and how intricate everything is. These are like damn near fucking feature films per episode, and the effects and the artistry that goes into creating all of these episodes, it's on another level that no other show is doing. So I'm here for it. I'm ready for it. Give it to me. Give it to me. I hope you all had and are having such a great Pride Month. It's not over yet, but we are nearing the end, and it is just my favorite month of the year. Make sure that you are participating in some sort of Pride situation this June. If you are part of the queer community, I love ya so much. And if you're an ally, tip a drag queen. You can Venmo me, honestly. Get involved in your local HRC chapter. I don't know, diva, figure it out. There are so many things that you can do for the queer community, and it is just a great thing to do this month of June and every month. Okay, guys, thank you so much for listening and or watching. I love you all so much, and rest in peace, Prince Jacaerys and Barebacks, bro. We'll chat and debrief next week. Until then, lilas.